All right, let me paint you a picture. I'm rolling down I-40, somewhere deep in the gut of Arizona. The sun's beating down like it's trying to tenderize the asphalt into a cheap steak. The AC in my rig, the panty dropper, is blasting so hard my right nostril is threatening to freeze shut, which is exactly how I like it. See, a trucker's cab is his castle. My throne is a worn-in leather captain's chair that's molded perfectly to my backside after 1,000,000 miles and a few thousand chili dogs. My scepter is the gear shift, topped with a custom chrome skull with ruby eyes, and my kingdom is 53 feet of trailer packed with what the manifest calls assorted paper goods, but what I call the reason America can wipe its own backside. It's a noble profession. Don't let anyone tell you different. My rig ain't just a truck. She's a Kenworth W900, a long-nosed goddess of the highway. 18 wheels of pure, unadulterated American thunder. She purrs like a 40-ton diesel-guzzling kitten that eats Priuses for breakfast and craps out freedom. The chrome shines so bright, it's a hazard to low-flying aircraft, and the air horn sounds like God clearing his throat after a night of heavy drinking. I got her name painted right on the side of the cab in this classy, old-school pin-up script. Got me in trouble once at a way station in Utah, where the fella running it had no sense of humor, but that's a story for another time. The point is, this truck is more than a machine. She's my partner. We've seen sunrises over the Rockies and sunsets over the Pacific. We've survived ice storms in Minnesota and heat waves in Death Valley. I love this truck more than most people love their children. Hell, I love this truck more than I loved my last ex-wife. But that's a low bar. That woman could start a fight in an empty room. The panty dropper, she just wants to run. On the dash, the Holy Grail, a double-decker gut-buster burger from a little joint back in Flagstaff called Fat Mary's. This ain't just a burger. It's a monument to everything that's right with this country. Fat Mary herself is a legend. She's a 5'0" 300-pound force of nature with a beehive hairdo that hasn't moved since the Carter administration. She calls everyone sugar britches and wields a spatula like a conductor's baton, orchestrating a symphony of sizzling grease. Her diner is a time capsule. Red vinyl booths with more duct tape than vinyl, a jukebox that still has Elvis on it, and a smell that's a perfect blend of fried onions, old coffee, and pure happiness. She made this burger with her own 2 hands, 2 patties, hand-formed, so juicy you could use the runoff to grease my 5th wheel. Bacon so crispy it shatters if you look at it too hard. A thick slice of American cheese melted over the top like a glorious edible sunset. And the bun. Oh, the bun is toasted in bacon grease until it's golden brown and sings a little song when you bite it. It's not food. It's a religious experience. I take a bite. Heaven. Absolute greasy artery-clogging heaven. The flavor hits my tongue, and my eyes roll back in my head. If freedom had a taste, this would be it. A little bit of the special sauce, which I'm pretty sure is just mayo and ketchup and pure joy, drips onto my already stained shirt. It's a badge of honor, a new medal for my collection. Life is good. The road is clear. My belly is on its way to being full. My logbook is cleaner than a preacher's conscience, and the radio is playing some classic Sky Nerd. This is the trucker's dream, boys. Nothing but open road, the sweet smell of diesel, and the lingering aroma of onion rings. This is what poets write about. If poets were 300-pound men who measured distance in cheeseburgers. That's when I see it. Up ahead on the shoulder there's a shimmer. My first thought is it's a heat mirage. Or maybe Mary finally went too far with the secret sauce, and I'm having a vision. I squint. my eyes watering from the sheer force of the sun. It's not a mirage. It's white. Big and white. Like a goddamn Yeti fell out of a UFO and landed on the side of the interstate. My brain cycles through the possibilities. A busted mattress? A stray polar bear who took a seriously wrong turn? A very elaborate and poorly placed sheet fort? Maybe some art student's weird project about the fragility of modern society. I wouldn't put it past them. I get closer, my foot easing off the gas. The panty dropper slows from a roar to a grumble, the engine braking with a low Jake, Jake, Jake. That could wake the dead. The white shimmer takes shape. It's got a head and arms. It's a person. No, hold the phone. It's not just a person. It's a woman. A woman wearing a full-blown, puffy, straight-out-of-a-fairy-tale wedding dress. The kind of dress that costs more than my engine block and probably has its own zip code. She looks like a beautiful, expensive marshmallow that got dropped in the dirt. She's got her thumb out. Hitchhiking. I blink. I rub my eyes with the back of my greasy hand, smearing a little ketchup on my forehead. I look at the half-eaten burger. Did Mary slip some peyote in the pickles? This is Flagstaff, not Taos. Nope, she's still there. A bride, on the side of I-40. And get this, she's holding what looks like a tiny, half-demolished wedding cake and is shoveling it into her face with her bare hands. White frosting is smeared all over her chin and cheek. Mascara is running down her face in black rivers, like she's crying crude oil. She looks like the world's most beautiful raccoon who just successfully mugged a pastry chef. She's a hot mess, in the most literal sense of the phrase. Beautiful, but you can tell her day has gone completely off the rails. Now a normal man, a sane man, would see this scene and floor it. He'd mutter, "Not my circus, not my monkeys," and be 100 miles away before the story even got weird. He'd have a story to tell at the next truck stop, but it would buzz someone else's problem. But I'm Sam McCarty. My circus is a 24/7 traveling freak show, and I live for buying new monkeys. I can't leave a damsel in distress, especially one who clearly appreciates the importance of stress-eating baked goods. It shows character. It shows she's got her priorities straight. I hit the air brakes. The truck lets out a sound like a giant-y sigh of relief. Pshh! The whole rig shudders to a stop. I pull over onto the shoulder, kicking up a cloud of red dust that probably hasn't been disturbed since Wyatt Earp rode through. I lean across the vast expanse of my cab, my gut protesting the movement, and crank the handle for the passenger door. It swings open with a groan of protest, like an old man getting out of a low chair. "Need a lift, sweetheart?" I yell over the rumble of the engine. "Looks like you took a wrong turn at I do." She looks up. Her eyes are wide and ocean blue, even swollen from the crying. For a second, she looks terrified. She's probably been warned about guys like me her whole life. Big, loud truckers in giant rigs. Then she looks at me, a big, corn-fed fella with a friendly, if greasy, smile. She's a certified, grade A, 10-alarm fire in a meringue dress. The kind of woman you see on a billboard, not on the side of a highway, looking like she just lost a fight with a dessert cart. She hesitates, her gaze flicking from my rust-dusted rig to my smiling, probably-got-lettuce-in-my-beard face. I give her my best, most charming grin, the one that says, "I might smell like diesel and regret, but I'm a hell of a lot safer than whatever you're running from." She gives a tiny, shaky nod, clutching her mangled cake like a life raft. "Please," she says, her voice a cracked whisper that barely carries over the engine's idle. Getting her into the cab was a feat of engineering that would have made the guys who built the Hoover Dam take notes. The dress was a monster. It was like trying to stuff a king-sized mattress into a mailbox. Tulle, satin and lace, filled every square inch of the passenger side. It wasn't a dress. It was a hostile occupation of my personal space. "Okay, honey, suck it in," I yelled, trying to help by pulling on a handful of fabric. It felt like trying to pull a cloud. "Just gotta get the main part in. The rest will follow." "I am sucking it in," she sobbed, shoving a mountain of white fabric through the door. "This thing has a corset. I can't feel my own lungs. It's like being hugged to death by a very expensive ghost." It billowed over the gear shift, tickled my elbow, and generally declared war on the interior of my truck. Finally, she's in. The door slams shut, trapping about 3 feet of poofy fabric outside, flapping in the wind like a surrender flag. I roll down the window, grab the stray material, stuff it inside like I'm packing a parachute, and roll it back up. The cab now looks like the inside of a cloud, a very expensive, probably rented cloud that smells faintly of vanilla and desperation. She's perched on the edge of the seat, a crestfallen princess in a dirty chariot. "Thanks," she sniffles, trying to find a place for her cake. She settles for her lap, which is already a landscape of satin. She looks around the cab, at my collection of empty coffee cups, maps, and a bobblehead hula girl on the dash whose hips haven't stopped swaying since I bought her in Oahu. "No problem, darling. Name's Sam." I stick out a hand, then realize it's covered in burger grease. I wipe it on my already stained jeans. It's a lost cause. "Sam McCarty." "Isabella," she says, her eyes darting nervously to the road behind us. She's scanning the horizon like a prairie dog watching for hawks. "So, Isabella, not to pry, but what's with the get-up? You late for your own wedding?" I ask, trying to sound casual as I get the rig moving. The gears grind a little in protest as I find first, the truck not used to such a delicate operation. She lets out a short, bitter laugh that sounds like breaking glass. I was at my own wedding. I took a look at the groom, took a look at the exit, and decided I had better places to be. Like anywhere else on Earth. She takes another angry, defiant scoop of cake with her fingers, jamming it in her mouth. "Fair enough," I chuckle, merging back onto the highway. The truck groans under the added weight of 500 pounds of fabric and one broken heart. "Husband-to-be a real piece of work, huh? Did he have a weird laugh? Leave the toilet seat up? Collect beanie babies?" "You have no idea," she mutters, her gaze still fixed on the rear view. "It was worse. He chews with his mouth open, like a cow." I nod sagely. "Deal breaker. Absolute deal breaker. A man's got to have some decorum. That's a sign of a weak character. If he can't respect his food, he ain't gonna respect you." I give her a wide berth, keeping an eye on my mirrors out of habit. The panty dropper settles into a comfortable rhythm. I grab my backup meal from the dashboard. Warmer. A man can't live on burgers alone. It's a glorious foot-long hot dog, smothered in chili, cheese, and chopped onions. My own personal culinary masterpiece, assembled with the precision of a Swiss watchmaker at a truck stop in Gallup. I take a big bite, chewing thoughtfully. The chili is spicy, the cheese is melty, the onion gives it that perfect crunch. It's a symphony in a bun. As I'm chewing, I see her staring at the hot dog with a look of morbid curiosity. "Want a bite?" I offer, my mouth half full. "It ain't cake, but it'll stick to your ribs." She shakes her head. "No, thank you." Then, as if on cue, a fresh sob racks her body. The movement is a fatal one. The cake on her lap, already structurally unsound, tilts. I see it happening in slow motion, like a disaster film. A dollop of pristine white frosting, topped with a delicate sugar rose, slides off the edge of the cake and lands with a soft plop directly on my chili dog. I freeze. My chili dog, my perfectly crafted, savory, spicy chili dog, now has a jaunty hat of buttercream frosting with a rose. I look at the dog, I look at her, she looks at the dog, and her eyes go wide with a fresh wave of horror. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, I ruined it. She looks like she's about to burst into tears all over again. I stare at the unholy union of chili and frosting. For a second, I consider holding a small funeral. Then I shrug. Hell, I've eaten things that fell on the floor of a truck stop in Gary, Indiana. This is practically fine dining. Hey, I've eaten worse. I take a bite. It's confusing. It's a battle in my mouth. Sweet, savory, meaty, spicy. It's not terrible. It's not great. But it's definitely an experience. It's like a party in my mouth, and everyone is invited, and they're all fighting. My taste buds are sending confused signals to my brain. It's like listening to country and rap at the same time. But you know what? I don't hate it. She stares at me, her mouth agape. Then a small smile touches her lips. A real one this time. It transforms her face. The mascara-streaked raccoon is gone. Now she's just breathtaking. You're weird, she says, a hint of a giggle in her voice. Honey, you're sitting in my truck in a wedding dress eating cake with your hands. I think weird is the official theme of the day. That gets a genuine laugh out of her. A full, throaty laugh. It's a great sound, like wind chimes after a few beers. The tension in the cab drops a few notches. The cloud of satin seems a little less hostile. So, I say, trying to steer the conversation and my 18-wheeler at the same time, this piece of work fella you left at the altar, what's his deal? Is he an accountant? They're the worst. All numbers, no soul. She gets quiet again. The smile evaporates. She looks back at the road behind us, her knuckles turning white as she grips the cardboard base of her cake. His name is Vinnie Costello, she says, her voice barely a whisper. The name doesn't ring a bell. Vinnie Costello? He a doctor? A lawyer? One of those guys who sells essential oils and calls everyone bro? She shakes her head, her eyes dark. They call him Vinnie the Viper. Oh crap. That name I knew. Not personally, thank God, but you hear stories on the road, in late-night diners, over the CB radio, whispers about guys who make problems disappear, guys who own things they shouldn't. Vinnie, the Viper Costello, a big-shot mobster out of Vegas, the kind of guy who solves his problems with car trunks and long one-way trips to the desert, the kind of guy whose name you don't even want to whisper in a state that has that much empty desert in it. The kind of guy you don't steal a bride from, especially not when she's still in the damn dress. My stomach, full of burger and weird-ass hot dog, suddenly does a Fosbury flop. My easy breezy Tuesday just took a sharp left turn down a dark alley. Vinnie the Viper, I say, trying to keep my voice as steady as a surgeon's hand. You were going to marry a guy named after a snake? Honey, that's not a red flag. That's a whole damn parade of red flags with a marching band and baton twirlers. It was arranged, she says miserably, a tear tracing a new path through the mascara. My father, he owns a few casinos. He got into some trouble, bad investments. He owes Vinnie a lot. This was how he was paying the debt. By selling his daughter to a gangster? Your dad sounds like a real peach. Remind me to send him a Father of the Year card, made out of sandpaper. Just as I say that, I see it in my side mirror. A flash of black, sleek, shiny, and moving way too fast. It's a limousine, a big, black, stretch limo, weaving through the afternoon traffic like a shark, cutting through a school of minnows. It's driving with an aggression that says, get out of my way, or become part of the pavement. My blood runs cold, a cold that my blasting AC had nothing to do with. Isabella, I say slowly, my voice low. That limo, does it look familiar to you? She cranes her neck, her face a mask of dread. She squints into the mirror. All the color drains from her cheeks. She looks like a ghost in a wedding dress. That's his car. She whispers, "Oh God, he found me." The limo pulls into the lane right behind us. It's so close I can read the vanity plate. It says, D.A. Vuppa, subtle, real subtle. In the driver's seat, I can see a big bald gorilla in a suit, with sunglasses on, even though it's late afternoon. In the back, I can just make out the silhouette of a man in a sharp suit, gesticulating angrily. He's probably not happy. I'm guessing he didn't get any cake. All right, I say, my knuckles turning white on the steering wheel. My easygoing Tuesday is officially over. Change of plans. We're not just cruising anymore. We're running. I slam my foot on the accelerator. The Cummins engine under the hood doesn't just roar. It bellows. A huge cloud of black smoke belches from my exhaust stacks, engulfing the limo's windshield in a diesel eclipse. It's my signature move, the McCarty smoke out. The panty dropper might not be a Ferrari, but she's got enough torque to pull a politician out of office. We start pulling away, the big rig thundering down the highway like a freight train off its tracks. "What are you doing?" Isabella shrieks, grabbing onto the dash with both hands, her cake tumbling to the floor in a sad heap of frosting and crumbs. "What's it look like? I'm saving your pretty cake-covered butt," I yell back, a wild, crazy grin spreading across my face. This just went from a weird Tuesday to a full-blown action movie. And I'm the star, Sam McCarty, in Diesel and Distress. The limo driver is not a fan of the smokescreen. He swerves violently into the left lane, trying to get alongside us. I see a pistol nozzle poke out of the back window. Oh, hell no, not in my house, not on my watch. I swerve with him, keeping the massive 53-foot trailer between him and the passenger side of my cab. It's a high-speed game of chess with 40 tons of steel. He zigs, I zag. Cars around us are scattering like pigeons. I see a minivan full of kids, their faces pressed against the glass, mouths wide open. Sorry, kids. Show's just getting started. Hope your parents are ready to explain this one. Your dad's boring commute story is going to be real lame compared to what you just saw. "This is insane," she cries, her voice trembling. "Honey, Insane is my middle name. Sam Insane McCarty." I cackle. "I'm having the time of my life. This beats listening to audiobooks about tax law. I'll tell you that much." I see a turnoff coming up. A small 2-lane state road heading north into the mountains. It's my only shot. A big rig like mine owns the back roads. A fancy, low-slung limo. It'll handle like a pregnant whale on a skateboard. "Hang on to your, poofy thing," I shout. I wrench the wheel. The truck groans in protest. Tires squeal a song of pure agony. For a heart-stopping second, I think we're going to tip. The trailer sways violently, a giant metal pendulum of death. The load of toilet paper shifts, and for a moment, the whole rig feels like it's going to lie down for a nap. In the cab, Isabella and her mountain of a dress slide across the seat and slam into me. It's like being hit by a very soft, very fragrant, very terrified airbag. I muscle the rig, my forearms burning, and force it onto the exit ramp. We bounce hard as we leave the smooth interstate for the cracked potholed asphalt of the state highway. I glance in the mirror. The limo, caught by surprise, overshoots the exit. I see it screech to a halt on the shoulder, tires smoking. They'll turn around, but I just bought us a few precious minutes. "See?" I say, breathing a little heavy, my heart pounding a drum solo against my ribs. Piece of cake. I look down at the floor, or what's left of it. She's still pressed against me, her eyes wide, breathing in short, sharp gasps. The cab is an absolute disaster zone of white fabric. I'm pretty sure I have lace in my ear. You're crazy, she says, but there's a new hint of admiration in her voice. Crazy good, I correct her, patting the dashboard affectionately. Old girl's still got some moves. Don't tell her I said this, but she's getting a full wax and polish when we get out of this. We're flying down this back road now. Trees are a green blur on either side. The road is winding and hilly. Perfect. A limo will scrape its belly on these dips and eat dust on the inclines. Isabella finally manages to untangle herself from me and get back on her side of the cab. Her dress is even more of a disaster now. There's a smudge of my chili dog on her sleeve, and, oh boy, I see it. A long, bright yellow streak right down the front of the bodice, a racing stripe of French's finest, mustard. When she slammed into me, my half-eaten hot dog must have gone flying. It had become a projectile of savory destruction. Now her $1,000 pure white wedding dress is permanently branded. I brace myself. This is it. The screaming, the crying, the part where she realizes she's been rescued by a walking condiment accident. I clear my throat. Isabella, you've got a little, character mark right there. She follows my gaze down to her chest. She sees the mustard. She stares at it for a long, silent moment. I hold my breath, waiting for the explosion. Then she starts to giggle. It's a small sound at first, a little bubble of a laugh. Then it gets bigger. Soon she's howling. A full-on tears streaming down her face, can't breathe belly laugh. She's laughing so hard, she's clutching her mustard-stained stomach. Mustard? She gasps between laughs. Of course, they're mustard, on top of everything else. I can't help it. I start laughing, too. The sheer unadulterated absurdity of it all hits me like a ton of bricks. The runaway bride, the mob, the truck chase, the frosting chili dog, and now the mustard stain. It's the stupidest, most wonderful, most American thing that's ever happened to me. Well, I say, wiping a tear from my eye. It adds character, makes it a one-of-a-kind original. You can call it haute couture à la truck stop. My father is going to have a coronary, she says, still giggling. This dress cost more than my first car. He'll be more upset about the mustard than me running away. Forget your father. Vinny the Snake is going to have a fit. Imagine the gossip in the underworld. His bride ran off with a trucker who stained her dress with mustard. He'll never live it down. They'll call him Vinny the Condiment. Her laughter slowly subsides, replaced by a warm, genuine smile. She looks at me, really looks at me, for the first time. Not as a ride, not as a crazy driver, but as me. Sam, the guy with the greasy shirt and the weaponized hot dog. Thank you, Sam, she says, her voice soft and sincere, for all of this, for not just leaving me there. Hey, any day I get to outrun the mob and ruin a perfectly good wedding dress is a good day in my book, I say with a wink. Beats hauling paper towels to Phoenix. We drive in comfortable silence for a while, the only sound the rumble of the engine and the rustle of her dress. The sun is starting to set, painting the Arizona sky in shades of orange, pink, and purple. It's almost peaceful. Almost. I check my mirrors again, a nervous habit. Far behind us, maybe a mile or two back, I see headlights. 2 of them. Moving fast. Way too fast for this crappy road. Damn, I mutter. They're as persistent as a debt collector with a car payment due. They won't give up, she says, her voice tight with fear again. Vinny doesn't lose. It's bad for his brand. He thinks of everything as an investment, and I was a big one. Well, his stock is about to crash. Everyone loses sometime, sweetheart. and today is Vinny's turn to learn some humility. I need a place to hide, a place where a 70-foot-long, 13-foot-high truck can just vanish. On this road, that's a tall order. I keep my eyes peeled, scanning the darkening landscape. An old logging road, a quarry, anything. Then I see it. Up ahead, a cluster of old faded billboards for a long-gone tourist trap called Cactus Carl's Rattlesnake Farm and Petting Zoo. They're angled in a way that creates a little V-shaped pocket off the road. It's not much, but it might be enough. It's a gamble. Gonna get tight, I warn her. Tighter than a new pair of jeans after Thanksgiving dinner. I slow down, flick off my headlights, and make the sharp turn, pulling the rig off the pavement and onto the dirt behind the billboards. It's a perfect fit, just barely. The front of my cab is inches from a peeling picture of a cartoon cactus wearing a cowboy hat and looking way too happy. The back of my trailer is kissing a sign that says, "See the live two-headed snake. His name is Frank and Stein." From the road, if they're moving fast, they just might miss us. I kill the engine. Silence. The sudden lack of noise is deafening. All I can hear is the tick-tick-tick of the cooling engine, my own heart hammering in my chest like a trapped bird, and Isabella's ragged, shallow breathing. We sit there, in the dark, waiting. A minute later, which feels like an hour, we hear it. The angry roar of a powerful engine. The black limo screams past our hiding spot. We see its headlights cut a swath through the darkness and then disappear around the next bend. They didn't even slow down. They didn't see us. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. It comes out in a long, shaky whistle. Got 'em. Isabella sags in her seat with relief, her whole body going limp. I thought for sure they'd see us. Never underestimate the power of a good hiding spot and a bad paint job, I say, feeling pretty damn proud of myself. We'll wait here for a bit. Let 'em get good and far away. Let 'em chase their own tails for a while. Then we'll find a different route. We sit in the dark for a few minutes. The adrenaline starts to fade, and I become acutely aware of a few things. One, I'm starving again. The burger and the weird dog were just appetizers. 2, it's getting hot in the cab. The desert air cools down at night, but the residual heat from the engine and the two of us packed in here is turning the truck into a convection oven. It's so hot, Isabella says, fanning herself with her hand. She starts tugging at the high collar of her dress. I can't breathe in this thing. This corset is laced so tight I think my ribs are overlapping. I feel like a Victorian sausage. I look over at her. In the dim light from the moon filtering through the windshield, I can see beads of sweat on her forehead. The dress, which was a symbol of her escape, is now a beautiful, lacy, mustard-stained prison. There's got to be a zipper on that thing somewhere, right? I ask. In the back, she says, her voice strained, and about 100 tiny evil pearl buttons I can't reach. She twists and contorts, trying to get at her own back like a cat trying to lick its elbow. It's a losing battle. The dress is just too big, too structured. Here, I say, making a decision. Let's go in the sleeper. More room back there. I'll see what I can do. I've untangled more complicated knots on my tarps. The sleeper cab, in a truck like mine, isn't exactly a ballroom. It's a small functional space behind the front seats, with a bed, a little fridge full of jerky and soda, and some cabinets. Getting back there is usually a simple matter of standing up and taking a step. But with Mount Isabella taking up all the available real estate, it was another logistical nightmare. She had to go first, crawling over the center console, her dress bunching and catching on every knob and switch. It was like watching a polar bear try to climb through a cat door. I followed after her, squeezing past the mountain of fabric, my face buried in tulle for a moment. It smelled like her perfume and victory. We finally make it into the sleeper. It's even hotter back here. The space is almost completely filled with her dress. The bed is just a sea of white satin and lace. There's nowhere to stand. "Okay," I say, trying to sound professional, like a bomb disposal expert looking at a very complicated, very pretty bomb. "Turn around." She turns, presenting her back to me. I see it. A long, delicate zipper running from the nape of her neck all the way down to her lower back, and alongside it, a row of tiny pearl-like buttons, each one looped with a delicate, sadistic thread. "Good Lord," I mutter. "Who designed this thing? A medieval torturer with a background in fashion." "Tell me about it," she groans. "I think he did it on purpose, to make sure you can't escape." My fingers, which are more used to gripping a steering wheel or a greasy wrench, feel like clumsy sausages as I try to work on the tiny buttons. It's slow, tedious, frustrating work. One by one I unloop them. My knuckles keep brushing against the warm, smooth skin of her back. The air is thick with the scent of her perfume, mixed with diesel, chili, and something else, something uniquely her. After what feels like an eternity, the buttons are done. My back is aching from hunching over. "Okay," I say, wiping sweat from my brow. "Now for the main event." The zipper. I grab the little metal tab. It won't budge. It's stuck solid. "Hold still," I say. I put one hand on her shoulder to steady her, and use the other to give the zipper a good, firm tug. It gives, but only an inch, with a sound like tearing fabric. This thing is really wedged. I grunt. The problem is there's no room. The dress is all bunched up around you. I can't get any leverage. The bed is completely covered by the poofy skirt of the dress. There's nowhere for her to sit except for a tiny corner, but that doesn't help me get to her back. We're at a standstill, trapped by fashion. She turns her head to look at me over her shoulder, her blue eyes pleading in the gloom. What if I sat on your lap?" I pause. My brain, which had been focused on mechanical problems, short-circuits for a second. On my lap? "There's nowhere else to sit," she says, a hint of desperation in her voice. "The bed is the dress. If I sit on your lap, facing away from you, you'd be able to reach my back easily. It's just physics. It's logical. It's practical. It's also going to put a half-naked, beautiful woman who's running from the mob directly on top of me in a small, dark, hot space. My heart, which had just calmed down, starts doing that hammering thing again, like it's trying to tenderize my ribs. "Yeah," I croak, my voice suddenly as dry as the Arizona desert. "Yeah, okay, physics." Good idea. I sit down on the edge of the bunk, my back against the wall of the cab. There's just enough room. She turns around, gathers the front of her dress, and carefully, awkwardly, lowers herself onto my lap, facing away. Her weight settles onto my thighs. She's not heavy, but she's solid, real. She's so close I can feel the heat radiating off her skin. Her hair tickles my nose. "Okay?" she asks, her voice a little breathless. "Peachy," I manage to say, though my throat feels like it's full of sand. She reaches behind her, guiding my hands back to the zipper. "Try now." Now that I have a proper angle, it's easier. I get a good grip. I plant my feet. I pull down. The zipper gives way with a satisfying zip. It slides all the way down her back. The tension in the dress releases instantly. The tight bodice loosens, and the whole top part of the dress sags forward. Isabella lets out a huge sigh of relief, slumping back against my chest. "Oh, thank God," she breathes. I can finally breathe. The back of the dress is now wide open, and underneath, Underneath is not a sensible cotton bra. Oh no, it's a whole damn situation. A delicate, lacy, white corset, laced up tighter than a drum. Below that, a matching pair of panties and a garter belt holding up silk stockings. It's the kind of stuff you only see in catalogs you have to hide from your ex-wife. It's bridal lingerie. The major leagues. My mouth goes dry. My brain feels like it's been unplugged and rebooted. "Sam?" she says, her voice soft. She hasn't moved. She's still sitting on my lap, her body relaxed against mine. "Yeah?" I whisper, my voice cracking. "Can you help me with the corset laces?" I think my brain just melted and dripped out my ears. I nod, unable to form actual words. My clumsy fingers find the knot at the bottom of the laces. I start to untie it. My hands are shaking. This is way more intense than outrunning a limo full of goons. As I work the laces, pulling them free from their tiny eyelets, loosening the corset, she relaxes even more. Her head rests on my shoulder. Her hand comes to rest on my chest, right over my heart. I can feel her heartbeat through my shirt. Or maybe that's my own heart, trying to beat its way out of my ribcage and escape to a simpler life. The corset comes loose. She shrugs her shoulders, and the entire top of the wedding dress, along with the corset, slides down her arms, pooling in a massive heap of fabric around her waist. She's now sitting on my lap in nothing but the lacy lingerie. The small cab suddenly feels like the hottest place on planet Earth. She doesn't move away. Instead, she shifts, turning on my lap to face me. She has to hike one leg over my thigh to do it. Her eyes are dark in the dim light. The fear is gone. The panic is gone. All that's left is something else. Something I haven't seen before. A dangerous, wonderful spark. "Better?" I ask, my voice raspy. She doesn't answer with words. She just leans in. Her lips meet mine. It's not a frantic, desperate kiss. It's slow. It's deep. It's a kiss that says, "Thank you, and I'm alive, and to hell with Vinny the Viper all at once." It tastes of cake and freedom, and a little bit of that weird chili frosting combo. My arms, which had been frozen at my sides like I was being arrested, come up and wrap around her waist. I pull her closer until there's no space left between us. Her hands tangle in the hair at the back of my neck, pulling me in deeper. The world outside the truck disappears. There's no mob, no highway, no billboards advertising snake farms. There's just this. Her, me, in the dark, in the heat, surrounded by a ridiculous mountain of ruined silk. Things escalate, quickly. One kiss turns into two, then three, each one more intense than the last. Her hands are exploring my chest, my shoulders, unbuttoning my plaid shirt. My hands are on her back, feeling the smooth skin where the corset used to be, tracing the straps of her lingerie. The pile of dress around her waist is a cumbersome, ridiculous barrier, but we work around it. It's a challenge, and I've never been one to back down from a challenge. The cabin is rocking. I'm a big guy, 300 pounds of prime American beef. She's not exactly a feather, and our movements are enthusiastic. The whole rig is shaking on its suspension. The hula girl on the dash is dancing like she's at a rave. From the outside, it probably looks like there's a small localized earthquake happening inside my Kenworth. I have a fleeting thought that the whole thing might just tip over, and I'd be found crushed under my own rig, half naked, with a beautiful woman. Honestly, there are worse ways to go. She lets out a soft gasp, her head thrown back, her hair brushing against the fuzzy ceiling of the cab. My name is a whisper on her lips, a sound that sends a jolt straight through me. This is it. This is the peak, the summit of Mount Everest, the grand finale of the fireworks show. and that's when the world comes crashing back in. Tap, tap, tap. A sharp, metallic tapping sound. Right on the driver's side window, followed by a blinding flash of light. A powerful flashlight beam cutting through the front windshield, illuminating our little hiding spot and us in it. We both freeze. Every muscle in my body locks up. Isabella's eyes fly open, wide with sheer unadulterated terror. Then a loud, angry bang on the driver's side door. "Get out of the truck, you fat slob!" A voice yells from outside. It's a gravelly New Jersey kind of voice, the kind of voice that gargles with broken glass and disappointment. Oh, this is bad. This is really, really bad. Isabella is scrambling, a mess of limbs and lace, trying to pull the dress up. I'm trying to think. My mind is racing a mile a minute, but it's all just static and panic. We're trapped, boxed in. There's no way out. Bang, bang, bang. This time, on the window. I see the silhouette of a man, a big man. He's holding something long and metal, a tire iron. I'm not going to ask again, pal. Open up or I'm making a new window. Okay, Sam, think. You're a cornered grizzly bear. What do? You don't whimper. You don't surrender. You get real big, you roar, and you bite. A crazy, stupid, absolutely glorious idea pops into my head. It's a 1 in a million shot. It's probably going to destroy my truck. But it's the only shot I've got. Stay down, I hiss at Isabella. I push her off my lap and onto the floor of the sleeper, behind the seats, and hold on to something that's bolted down. I crawl over the center console, my half-unbuttoned shirt flapping, my heart trying to escape my chest. The goon outside is still banging on the window. I ignore him. I slide into the driver's seat. My hand finds the key in the ignition. "You asked for it," the goon growls. I hear the sickening sound of glass shattering as he smashes the passenger side window. Too late, pal. I turn the key. The engine doesn't just start. It explodes to life, a deafening roar that shakes the very ground. The goon outside jumps back, startled, dropping his flashlight. I don't give him time to recover. I slam the truck into reverse. The tires spin in the dirt, digging trenches. Then they catch. The whole rig lurches backwards with the force of a battering ram. With a sickening crunch of metal and wood, the back of my trailer smashes straight through the billboard behind us. Splintered wood and torn vinyl of a two-headed snake go flying into the night. "What the hell?" the goon shouts, his voice filled with disbelief. I wrench the wheel, throwing the truck into drive. I stomp on the gas. The panty dropper, my beautiful 40-ton beast, lunges forward like a charging rhino. We burst out from our hiding spot, not onto the road, but cutting across the V-shape, aiming right for the other billboard, the one with Cactus Carl's stupid, smiling face. The limo is parked on the shoulder, blocking any easy escape. The bald gorilla driver is getting out, a confused look on his face. The goon with the tire iron is staring at me, his mouth hanging open in a perfect O of shock. They think I'm trapped. They think I'm cornered. They don't know Sam McCarty. We hit the second billboard head on. There's a sound like thunder, as 18 tons of steel meet flimsy wood and metal poles. The billboard doesn't stand a chance. It disintegrates. We plow right through it and back onto the highway, facing the wrong way into potential oncoming traffic. For a split second, there's pure chaos. My truck is on the wrong side of the road. The limo is behind me. The goons are scrambling. I don't hesitate. I crank the wheel hard, executing a screaming, tire-smoking U-turn that a truck this size has no business making. The trailer whips around, jackknifing dangerously close. I correct, my arms straining, wrestling the beast back under control. Now I'm facing the right way, and the limo is right in front of me, trying to get away. The bald driver is back behind the wheel. He floors it. But a limo is no match for a semi-truck in a game of chicken played from behind. You wanted a piece of me? I roar, even though no one can hear me over the engine. Come and get it, you Gucci-wearing goons. I floor it. We're gaining on them. The limo swerves, trying to shake me. I stay right on his tail, my headlights filling his rearview mirror. I can see the terrified face of the tire iron goon in the passenger seat. He looks like he's about to be sick. They try to brake check me. Big mistake. That's like a chihuahua trying to brake check a rhinoceros. I barely feel the tap. My chrome bumper doesn't even get a scratch. Okay, boys, I say to myself, a wild, adrenaline-fueled grin plastered on my face. Playtime's over. The road ahead curves sharply to the left. I see my opening. As the limo takes the curve, I don't follow. I stay straight for a split second longer. Then I nudge my front bumper into the limo's rear quarter panel. A gentle love tap. From a 40-ton truck. It's a classic pit maneuver. Just with a vehicle about 20 times the recommended size. The back end of the limo loses all traction. It starts to spin. The bald driver fights the wheel, but it's too late. The long black car goes into a full, uncontrolled spin, sliding gracefully off the road and into a sandy, cactus-filled ditch. It comes to a rest with its nose buried in a bush at a very undignified angle. Not a terrible crash. No one's hurt. But they ain't going anywhere soon. I let out a whoop of pure, unadulterated victory, laying on the air horn for a long, triumphant blast that echoes through the mountains. Wah! I look in my mirror. The two goons are climbing out of the tilted car, looking dazed, confused, and utterly defeated. Vinny the Viper just lost. Big time. I look over my shoulder. Isabella is peeking up from behind the seat, her hair a wild mess, her eyes wide with a mixture of terror and absolute awe. Are they? They're fine, I say, my voice giddy with adrenaline. Just taking an unscheduled nap in a ditch. They won't be bothering us again tonight. A slow, disbelieving smile spreads across her face. Then she starts laughing again, that beautiful, musical, slightly hysterical laugh. You are absolutely certifiably insane, she says, climbing back into the passenger seat. She's still just in her lingerie and stockings, the ruined dress a heap on the floor like a casualty of war. And you love it, I say, turning my attention back to the road, my grin a mile wide. We drive. The adrenaline slowly fades, replaced by a warm, satisfied buzz. The moon is high in the sky now, a silver dollar lighting the road ahead. We don't talk much. We don't need to. The shared insanity of the last few hours has said it all. After about an hour of putting as much distance as possible between us and that ditch, we see the lights of a small town up ahead. A lonely-looking bus station, a 24-hour gas station, a diner with a flickering neon sign. Civilization, sort of. I pull into the empty parking lot of the bus station. I kill the engine. The silence returns, but this time, it's peaceful. This is probably as far as I should take you, I say softly, the words feeling heavy. You can catch a bus from here. Go anywhere. Phoenix, Denver, hell, Canada. Disappear. She nods, looking out at the quiet town. Yeah, you're right. She turns to me, her expression unreadable in the dim light. What about the dress? She asks, gesturing to the crumpled, mustard-stained pile of white fabric on the floor. I chuckle. I'll keep it. Might use it as a truck cover, or a very fancy oil rag. It's a trophy. She smiles, a sad little smile this time. Sam, Don't worry about it, Isabella, I say, cutting her off before she can say something that'll make this harder. It was an adventure, the best damn Tuesday I've ever had. She leans over the center console. She puts a hand on my cheek, her thumb stroking my beard. Then she gives me a kiss. It's different from the one in the sleeper cab. This one is slow, sweet, and full of 100 things we don't have time to say. It's a goodbye. Thank you, she whispers against my lips. For everything. She pulls away. Before I can say anything, she opens her door and slips out into the cool night air. She rummages around in the pile of her dress for a second, finds a small sequined purse I hadn't noticed, and then spots a flannel shirt I keep on the back of the seat. It's my spare. She slips it on over her lingerie. It's huge on her, swallowing her whole, but it covers her up. She gives me one last look, a look that I know I'll be replaying in my head for the next 1,000 miles. A look of gratitude, of shared secrets, of a crazy adventure. Then she turns and walks towards the bus station, not looking back. A runaway bride in stockings and a trucker's flannel shirt, disappearing into the fluorescent lights of a lonely depot. I watch until she's gone. Part of me, the stupid romantic part, wants to run after her. The logical part, the part that has to haul paper goods to Sacramento by morning, knows this is how it has to be. Some stories don't have a happily ever after. They just have a hell of a middle. I sit there for a minute, the engine off, just thinking. What a day. What a woman. I sigh, scrubbing a hand over my tired face. Time to hit the road. I fire up the engine, the familiar rumble a comforting friend. I put the truck in gear and pull out of the parking lot, back onto the lonely highway. I reach up to adjust my rearview mirror, and my fingers brush against something soft, something lacy. I look up. Dangling from my mirror, swinging gently with the motion of the truck, is a delicate, white, lacy garter belt. She left me a souvenir. A huge, stupid, unstoppable grin spreads across my face. I start to laugh. A deep, loud belly laugh that fills the whole cab and spills out into the night. Well, I'll be damned. I crank up the radio. A classic rock song comes blasting out of the speakers. I stomp on the gas. The panty dropper roars her approval, and I speed off into the darkness. The little piece of lace swinging back and forth, a perfect, ridiculous trophy from the day I went to war with the mob for a runaway bride. Yeah, life is good, and never ever boring.